Former vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin is still a person who exists, and she's currently doing her best to crawl her way back into the national spotlight. Let's check in on how it's going so far. Quickly before we jump into it, this story happened a while ago, and especially in the fast-paced news cycle we have now, it seems like a long time ago, but I just wanted to cover it because right now there's so many serious stories coming up. I'm about to cover the Ukraine-Russia situation, and there's a lot of other pretty serious stories, and politics can be a serious place. So I think when you get the chance to laugh, and let me tell you, this story got me laughing so hard, you should absolutely do it. So that is what we're gonna do today. Watch Sarah Palin completely malfunction and get a good laugh, hopefully lighten our hearts a little bit. And like I mentioned, a lot of you may have already seen this before because it did happen a bit ago, but it was right before I even started the show, and is maybe one of my favorite things I've seen in a long time, so I had to cover it. Now, if any of you did happen to miss this, I'm gonna give you the whole summary of the debacle that led to this clip. It is super stupid. Disclaimer, this is not some important story. This is just stupidity at its finest. So let me give you a really quick recap about what led to what we're about to watch. So this may have been one of the dumbest situations in American politics in a while. It's gonna hurt me to talk about, but pretty much Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez went on a vacation to Florida with her boyfriend. And the right wing saw that and was like, hey, you are liberal and you went to Florida and you've criticized the Floridian government, so somehow you're a hypocrite because you traveled somewhere that you disagree with their government. I never got the criticism, but pretty much a photo came out of her and her boyfriend looking like they're having a good time in Florida, sitting at a table outside. And the reason I specify that it was outside is because some people try to make a hypocrisy argument that, oh, she was on vacation not wearing a mask with her boyfriend, it's a scandal. But really no one's advocating to have mask mandates for two people sitting outside, not really close to any crowd of people. So that criticism didn't land, but let's see if this one from Steve Cortez, who chimed in on Twitter and said, 1. If leftists like AOC actually thought mandates and masking worked, they wouldn't be frolicking in free Florida. 2. Her guy is showing his gross, pale male feet in public, not at a pool or beach, with hideous sandals. 0 for 2. Okay, so AOC and her boyfriend go on vacation. It's much colder in DC, so they're going to a place with nice weather. They're sitting outside, they're having a nice time, I don't know, drinking margaritas or something, and her boyfriend is kicking back wearing sandals. Tragic. Now, can we just be honest? Cut the music. Steve, hey, Steve. 99.99999% of people who saw that photo didn't even give one thought. Probably didn't even notice that the guy was wearing sandals, much less want to comment on the quality of his pale feet. So this is what I want to say to you. It's okay. Some people have a foot fetish, looks like you do. We're not shaming you for it, but just don't try to veil it in a criticism of AOC. Just be out and honest about what you like. And then I guess to address the more serious point he made, which was the first one, I don't think AOC and her boyfriend went to Florida because they enjoyed the lax COVID policies. I'm pretty sure they went, if I was a betting man, for the beaches and the nice weather, which, sorry, I don't think Republicans can take credit for that. So in my humble opinion, that was a little bit of a shoot and miss from Steve Cortez, also revealing himself for being a little bit too observational about the feet of AOC's boyfriend. But AOC responded and said, if Republicans are mad they can't date me, they can just say that instead of projecting their sexual frustrations onto my boyfriend's feet. You creepy weirdos. Now, there's a little bit of a mixed reaction to that tweet. Obviously, the right hated it, but even among the left, some people thought it was a little presumptuous, and some people thought it was the perfect, accurate thing to respond. I honestly think there's merit to both opinions. Anytime you say that a whole swath of people just wants to date you, you are going to come off presumptuous, but I personally can't help but ignore the fact that she gets way more attention than anybody else, even though a lot of people share her same policies, and you have to wonder if it's because not only is she a woman of color, but also attractive. And if you're on the right, I don't know, do a little introspection. Maybe you do want to date her and it just bends your brain because she's pretty and that's good, but she wants to give you healthcare and that's Satan. I don't know. Anyways, it is true that she gets way more criticism compared to everybody else who's a progressive, shares her same policies. So for example, if you look at Fox News, they cover her way more than someone, for example, like Bernie. And Bernie, objectively, is more powerful. He was a former presidential candidate, almost got the nomination. So you would think a news channel opposed to left-wing policies would go after him a lot more and a lot more aggressively. But if you look at time spent, there's way more time on Fox covering AOC. And then also, if you go watch those clips, it's way more aggressive than how they attack Bernie. So I think you can start doing the math and say she's strong, she's opinionated, and she's a woman of color. And I think, I'm sorry, it seems like for a lot of people on the right, that is very infuriating. And then I think you throw in that she's beautiful, and it kind of contorts and confuses the male Republican brain, because I'm supposed to hate her, but I like her. I don't know what to do. Now listen, if you're on the right, I'm not just doing this to make fun of you. I literally think that's what it is. But if you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'll actually read them and actually want to have a discussion with you. Okay, so that's the context of the situation. Now, Sarah Palin got brought on to Fox News to respond to this whole debacle, and this is how that appearance went.
Republicans are mad they can't date me. Joining me now to react, former governor of Alaska, Sarah Palin. Governor, always great seeing you. So I just wonder what would have happened when you were getting such a hard time by the media if you had responded and said, just as AOC said, hey, you guys are just all sexually frustrated. You all want to date me. What would have happened?
Yeah. Isn't that something? That's pretty creepy, pretty junior high-ish creepy. It amazes me, though, her and other liberals, socialists even, their ability to deflect from what the issues truly are. And here, her obsession with at least suggestions of always gender and sex even, it, I truly believe that there are enough Americans who get it and understand what her tactic is, and that is to deflect from what the real issues are. But okay, take this issue, though, with her suggestion of dating and, attraction to someone and blaming her failures on that obsession with sex. Look how the liberals, Rachel, want to pound that into the public's head, that advertising who is attracted to who, what people do in the privacy of their own bedrooms, all those things that have to do with privacy and sex. The liberals, not the conservatives, are the one who pound after that. And obviously, it's a tactic so that she doesn't have to be held accountable. It sounds like she hasn't been held accountable.
Thanks for having me on. So yes, in this tweet, Alexander Ocasio-Cortez just goes on to talk about how with dating, and you know what happens with dating. And I was walking my dog, and she's always she's talking about dating, which is sex, and they pound into our heads all about, the liberals, the gender, they want to go on and just talk and pound about sex. Okay, so that clip was completely incoherent. She's bouncing from idea to idea to idea, and even the points that you could make out barely, they didn't make sense either. She says something about gender. I don't think AOC said anything about gender. And then she's talking about sex and stuff in your own bedrooms. And can we just take a second? Really, even if you're on the right, the whole what's going on in your own bedroom, in the privacy of your own home, that's what liberals believe. They're saying that you shouldn't care about what people are doing in their own bedrooms. And that's what the whole importance of the LGBTQ stuff is. It's like, why do you care if two guys or two women or whatever want to be together in their own bedroom? And then she's trying to flip it and make some weird point about how, that's what they want to focus on because of blah, 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 blah. Now, conservatives, I think you need to take Sarah Palin and put her back in a cave in Alaska and don't let her ever come out, because she does not give a good look to your movement. This clip was particularly embarrassing, but almost every time I've seen her, she's making no sense. She's similar to Trump in the way that she connects her thoughts. It's just bounce, 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 bounce. It really is the dog with the squirrel thing. She's like, liberals and gender and sex and pounding. And so I really don't know why she's being brought on Fox News, or she was at a convention recently speaking for a bunch of people. I don't know how she's booking these gigs, because she is not a good speaker. So that is the great AOC's boyfriend's Footgate and Sarah Palin's incoherent response to it.